Step and take a seat. Got stories we'll repeat. Groove with me, feel the beat.
Hey guys, so how about we do a story time? Solo travel. My first solo trip was 2018, maybe. Anyway, my mom passed in May of that year, and it was a rough year for me. Not only did my mom pass, but my I found out my boyfriend cheated on me, and I got laid off uh, all around the same time. It was three strikes and I was out. So that was in May of that year, and I decided, bump this. I need a vacation, and I thought I was going to arrange, make it a family vacation, but I said I'm going by myself. So I made arrangements to go to Jamaica. Um, the city escapes me, but I think it's the capital. I scheduled um all-inclusive resort for adults only. The name escapes me. Everything escapes me right now. But yeah. Iberostar, Rose Hall Grand, I think it was. Anyway, I will put it somewhere up here. But yeah, so that was in the fall of that year, maybe August. And so yeah, I went by myself. It was like 4 or 5 days. I went, it was very nice. I made arrangements where they would pick me up. I was picked up from the airport, from the gate. Once I got off the plane, they had the little sign with my name on it, and they took me through customs and took me to this room where they set my suitcase aside. They gave me a cool towel. They gave me something to drink and some little snacks, and had me sit down and wait for my ride to the hotel. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is very nice. Um, I felt very safe, having the escort, especially from the gate through customs to that room was very nice. So I hadn't sat down long before my ride showed up. So they took me to the resort, and as I got out of the car, they greeted me with nice rolled up cool cloth, some kind of drink, some kind of fruity tropical drink. They got me checked in, took me to my room. The room was very nice, and my vacation started. So it was cool. It was kind of weird because I'm like, I had never been anywhere like that by myself before. Um, traveling, that was just kind of the start of my getting out, spreading my wings on my own. And it was because I was tired, and I just needed some time alone. So the next day, I got out, I spent some time in the pool, hours. It was really hot. And then a thunderstorm came along. So everybody got out of the pool, and I went to one of the lounge areas in the lobby. And I was sitting at the bar, and I was joking with the bartenders. And then there was a couple over there that were sitting over there. So, we were just hanging out, in the lounge area, and, joking now and then. And I had two Jamaican smiles. It's like a drink, maybe about that tall, and then there's a stem, kind of like in a a glass that they put a daiquiri in. And it was a fruity, sweet, slushy drink. So I had two. It was the middle of the afternoon. I had eaten at the pool. They were serving grilled shrimp and lobster tails. So I had some seafood uh, before that. So after I drank my second one, I'm like, I don't feel too well. Like, I don't feel too well. So I'm like, here, let me leave a tip. I told the one bartender to make sure that the other bartender who was down at the inn, who had been serving me, got the tip. And he said, okay. So I went to step off of the stool. And the next thing I remember is I woke up and I had all these faces. I opened my eyes and had all these faces around me. And I'm like, why are y'all all in my face? The first words I said is like, why y'all all in my face? And then it was like, am I on the floor? Did I pass out? So that's kind of how, my first words went. They're like, yeah, you passed out and then you shook a little like you were having a seizure. Do you have a history of seizures? I'm like, no, I don't. Um, so I just said it was probably my blood sugar. It's like I didn't feel drunk, um, not even a buzz. I just all of a sudden I felt like I was going to throw up and I needed to go to the bathroom at the same time. So that's why I said, let me go. And then I passed out. So um, everyone was asking me questions. You have a history of seizures? Do anything? Are you diabetic? I'm like, no, no, no. I told them, I have had dizzy spells in the past from low blood sugar. So I thought that's what it was. And then they had a nurse come out and she tested my blood sugar and said it was fine. And I'm like, well, I don't know, what happened. And they're like, well, does your head hurt? Did you hit your head? I'm like, I don't think so. I don't feel anything. So I still had on my swimsuit and my cover up. So they put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me down to my room. And I was so embarrassed because I'm like, they don't think I'm drunk. I'm drunk, sitting at the bar and then pass out. Oh, how embarrassing. So this group of folks, went to my room and I was cracking jokes the whole way down to my room. And I think that's just what do you call it? A defense mechanism. Uh so yeah, I mean, I was just, kind of laughing the whole time. And they're like, well, we think you should go to the hospital. I'm like, I really don't want to go to the hospital. But they talked me into it because they're like, your blood sugar's fine. You may have hit your head. We just think it's best if you go to the hospital to make sure everything's okay. So the woman of the couple that were from Atlanta, incidentally, found out they were from Atlanta after all this happened. She asked me if I wanted her to go to the hospital with me, and I said, yeah, why not? I'm by myself. Um, so the nurse helped me get dressed. They got my wallet from the safe and wheeled me out, called an ambulance, and then uh, the lady from Atlanta negotiated with the ambulance the price because I had to pay cash for the ambulance. So she negotiated with them down. And it was two guys, and we joked with them all the way to the hospital. So of course I get to the hospital. Had this young woman doctor. They couldn't find anything. They ran some tests, and I'm like, look, I don't want to spend my vacation in the hospital. I feel fine. I feel fine. She couldn't find anything wrong, and I had to pay to find my way back to the resort. So they took me back to the resort, and then from then on, everybody in that resort knew my name. Hey, Miss Teresa, how you feeling, Miss Teresa? How you doing, Miss Teresa? I would pass the security guards that were stationed throughout the hallway. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew me. So, that solo trip was like, the things that you might fear happened to me. Um, I passed out. I had a medical emergency. Um, Lucky it wasn't anything serious. Now, uh, later on, I found out that passing out was either perimenopausal and or it was heart related. So, um, yeah, but I passed out again, before, and matter of fact, I passed out in Paris a couple of years later. I think I did a video on that. So I'm no stranger to passing out in in foreign countries. So luckily, I had gotten the insurance when I purchased my made my arrangements. So the money that I spent on the hospital bill and for the ambulance was reimbursed, no problem. And I want to say it was Alliance Insurance, Allianz. I believe that's who I had that time, and I also had them when I was in Paris, and got my money back both times. Again, no problem. Um, what else can I say? Yeah, the rest of the time, I mean, I didn't have any problem, the rest of the time I was there. But they took good care of me. They took really good care of me. I mean, like I said, everybody knew me. So people were constantly, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You all right? I'm like, I'm fine. I wasn't drunk. I'm not, I wasn't passed out drunk. It was just, I don't know. And I think I was telling people it was my blood sugar. My blood sugar dropped. I'm not diabetic, but I'm hypoglycemic. But for lack of a better explanation, that's what I was telling folks. So anyway, I went on to enjoy myself and have a good rest of my time there. Oh, I don't know if I should tell you this here or make another video. I'm gonna tell you this here because this is really, it's not so much about the fact that I passed out, but this was my first solo trip. So yeah, so I'm in Jamaica and my last night, I was out of my room most of the night until like after midnight because I'm like, it's my last night. I don't want to spend it in my room. And it turns out they had a surprise for me in my room. They had run me a bath, put flower petals in the tub. There was a plate of chocolate covered strawberries that there was like a shelf that went across the bathtub, and the plate of chocolate covered strawberries were there. By the time I got to my room, the water was cold, but I think someone asked when I was going to my room. I don't remember, but so many people had been speaking to me. I just spoke to everybody. I'm just like, hey, hi, whatever. I didn't know, any difference. So I went to my room and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. I missed it, because I was out and about, but this is really cool. So hopefully I have pictures and I'll put the pictures up on here. But the kicker is, so that night, someone came knocking at my door. And oh no, I got a phone call when I got to my room, and he said, "Hey, I have something for you. Since this is your last night, um, I wanted to bring it by, if it's okay." And I'm like, "Sure, it's okay." I don't know what it could have been, but also I thought it was the head of head of hospitality or the hospitality manager. He had been checking on me. He was calling me like every day, like, how are you feeling today, Miss Teresa? You need anything? I'm like, no, I'm good. Um, after I had passed out, I guess he wanted to make sure that, nothing happened and I wasn't going to sue. But that's who I thought was on the phone. The room that I was in had a butler, and I think I only saw him once, so I don't remember him. But like I said, there were people all over and everybody was saying hi to me. So I didn't know who was who. And I assumed this guy saying that he had something for me was the hospitality manager. So I get this knock on the door. I didn't even look, I just opened the door. And here's this guy. He looked familiar, but I'm like, he wasn't who I thought it was. But naive me let him in my room. And I'm like, look what they did for me. Isn't this cool? I'm like pointing to the bathroom and showing them, I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like, I hate I wasn't here to take advantage of it. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just talking, talking, talking with this strange man in my hotel room. And he had said something that he asked if I minded if he had a beer. The suite I had alcohol, beer and wine in the refrigerator. So I'm like, yeah, you can have a beer. I'm not going to drink it. So he drank a beer and I can't remember what we talked about, but then he's like, he made some comment about, oh, what was it? He made some comment about me being sweet or something. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Then he said something about tasting me or something. And I'm like, what'd you say? And he repeated it. I'm like, okay, look, little boy, I'm old enough to be your mom. You need to go. You need to go. Cause it's like, it's just hitting me that he's like offering himself to me. He was, I think I don't know what that was about. I don't know if someone said, go down, she's by herself, make sure she gets the Jamaican treatment or what. I don't know why he came to my room to offer himself to me. Anyway, I'm like, you need to go. And I mean, again, I wasn't afraid. I should have been, and I shouldn't have just opened the door and let him in, but it's like I wasn't, it was my first solo trip. I wasn't being, everybody had been being so friendly and watching out for me that I let my guard down. And it could have been a really dangerous situation, but it wound up being a funny one to me. I mean, but this little boy, I mean, we look young, so I don't know how old he was, but I mean, he looked like he was in his early 20s. What's he trying to offer me? No, it's just, I, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, I passed up on, what do they call him in, How Still I Got Her Groove Back? Or what did Eddie Murphy call him? Jake, whatever his name was. I passed on getting my groove back, but it gave me a story to tell, about some Jamaican guy offering me his services on my last day there. So I don't know. Freaky. I mean, I don't know how many women take him up on it. I hear lots of women go to Jamaica for fling or whatever, but I think one of the reasons that I booked the on all inclusive is because I felt like I'd be safe if I just stayed on the property. Being by myself, I'd be safe. I didn't have to answer any questions, about are you alone or whatever. Um, but after I passed out, everybody knew I was by myself, and like I said, everybody knew me. So um, yeah, it was a memorable trip. Um, yeah, it was a memorable trip, and it gave me a story to tell. So, I'm not complaining at all about it. I'd go back. I'd go back. It was a nice piece of property, and the people were, like I said, the people were very nice. So yeah, I would go back and I would recommend it. But I would say be more cautious than I was if somebody calls you and says they have a gift for you before you leave. Don't open that door like I did. All right. So hope you found that interesting. And I guess I will catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.